What's going on YouTube? KREESE here. Tonight we are going to be replacing the VTEC solenoid gaskets. I have two of them right here. This is on a Honda S2000 2001 AP1 model. Now as you can see here, I have had some leaking going on. This is a car, if you've seen my other video, I just picked this up, doing a couple little things to it. As you can see here, I went ahead and disconnected both of these clips for the VTEC solenoid and the oil pressure switch. They just connect in right here. You got one here. You can see you got one of these clips. I don't remember which one it was. This one goes here and that one goes here, I believe. Anyway, they only go one way. I went ahead and disconnected those. I wanted to show y'all here. This is what I had going on. As you can see, this bolt is missing, and it's not just missing, it's been broken off. So this is what happened. Owner before me decides, oh, this is leaking. Rather than fix it right and replace the gaskets, what do? Come out here, put a socket on there, start tightening it down, wring the bolt off. So leave it up to KREESE, the car doctor, to come behind it and fix everything the right way. So we will also be, along with removing this, we will be taking a tap and an easy out, removing this broken screw. And I picked up, this is a M6 by 1.0 thread pitch, 6mm. It's got a I picked up a aftermarket, just stainless steel one at Tractor Supply, but you can get it at any hardware store. I'll show it to you, but I'm going to replace that bolt with that. These from the factory, these are a 10mm. The one that I got is a stainless, and it's just a 3/8 head, so we'll be using that to fix this, along with these two gaskets here that you can see. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to pull these bolts off, like I said, 10mm. I'm using the socket, a 10mm socket, an extension, and a ratchet. Pull these off, and we'll go ahead and get this out of the way. So with your socket and ratchet on there, go ahead and start taking these bolts out. Alright, so with our bolts out, you can see here, the gasket's on there, but you can see there's a good bit of oil in here, which, you know, you're supposed to have oil. This is your VTEC solenoid. Check, make sure your spring's good. Spring and everything is fine in there. The only problem I'm having, like I said, we'll go ahead and replace these gaskets. As you can see here, like I was showing you, this bolt is wrung off, so we'll go ahead and get this fixed. And I wanted to show y'all this. If y'all can see, this is the gasket that has been in here. If I had to guess, this car's got 182,000 miles on it, probably the entire life of the car, because this has been a leak that has been going on for some time. I've wiped up most of the oil that's gotten down in here, but this is a leak that was just ongoing, y'all, because no one took the time to replace it. I want you to look at this gasket, and I want you to look at this gasket. Look at how flat this gasket is. It is not sealing at all. It almost feels plastic. There's no rubbery, squishy feel at all left to it. This is what it should look like, and it should sit in there like this. This is what we got. So this is not sealing at all. Zero, zilch, nada, nothing. No seal, no good. Need a new gasket. Alright, so with a couple of different drills and drill bits, I got a hole started here. It's not the best, but I got this easy out in here, and turning it with the wrench, it is starting to loosen this broken bolt. I can see it turning. So I'm having a hard time with the wrench, just with this area right here trying to work in. So we're going to go ahead and finish removing the rest of the bolts here that hold this VTEC housing on. You know, the solenoid is what we removed off of here. This is like your oil pressure switch right here. So this is kind of like the oil pressure switch housing. We're going to remove, there's a 10mm bolt, sorry y'all, 10mm bolt here, and this one right here. We'll remove these three, and this housing will come off of the block. Alright, so last bottom bolt removed here. As you can see, our housing. This is our gasket, the one that we'll be replacing, which actually, y'all, doesn't really look all that bad. It's a lot softer than the other one was. There we go. So this gasket does not look as bad as I thought. But anyway, we'll be going ahead and replacing everything. I wanted to show y'all, share with y'all what I had going on here. Now, it's not the prettiest thing, but we were able to get this into this bolt. It looks like I may have nicked up the threads just a little bit, but I have a tap and die set. I'm going to go ahead and tap this hole out. Make sure we have everything just right. So if y'all can see that, it's kind of what I had going on here. So that's pretty much how an easy out works. The threads don't look too bad in it. I'm going to go ahead and run a bolt in there and see how they work. So I got one of the factory bolts here. Y'all can see that. Screws in just fine. No problems. Got very fortunate on this one, y'all. And if you want to know anything about easy out, this is a little set I have here. Drill extractor set. Easy outs. It's an old snap-on set. Some pieces are missing. It was my dad's. You can tell this thing is old. It's probably a classic. You won't find them like this anymore. But anyway, this is what I used. This is the bolt. Alright guys, so we're back over here in the vise. I promise that I'm going to get to replacing the gaskets pretty soon. But one thing I wanted to do real quick is this oil pressure sending unit right here. Just this sensor. This is a 22 millimeter wrench. This is a 22 millimeter on here, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off just to make sure. I have some thread sealant that we're going to put around here just to make sure that we don't have any leaks coming from there, because I did have, on an old Eclipse I had on the back of the block, I had a persistent leak. I could not find out what it was. It was actually the oil pressure, the sending unit switch. The sensor like this was just leaking oil. It's hard to tell if that's what's going on here. I know the gaskets need replacing, but while I have this off and I can access it, we're going to take this off and put some thread sealant on just in case. Alright, so you can see with our little sensor out, there's an O-ring here. We're going to put some thread sealant around there just to be on the safe side. And this is just some old Napa thread sealant with Teflon. We're going to apply a small amount on here, put it back. So, it doesn't take a whole lot, just a small amount here. We'll go ahead and replace this. Alright, so now what everybody's been waiting for. So we've got your VTEC, solenoid, pressure switch, all that stuff here, all in one. New thread sealant on. And this is kind of how this thing works, guys. You can see it's got spring actuated here. You got this piece that comes out here, and there's some really smart Honda engineers that design all this stuff to work. This is your VTEC. So you got your spring here, and it's a little plunger. All that stuff is in good shape. So anyway, I just cleaned this off just a little bit, and we can go ahead and replace our first gasket now, which is the top one up here. And as you can see, like I said, this gasket here is pressed absolutely flat. So to get this out, I'm gonna have to get a flathead screwdriver and pry this thing out of here. Alright guys, so we got this flathead. Went ahead and pried this old gasket out. Y'all can see this thing is, look at that. You see how brittle that is? I just went to flex it. There's absolutely no pliability here left. This gasket is completely shot. No wonder this is leaking. So you can see our new one here is this rubber. See how flexible it is? This has been on here probably the life of the vehicle, guys. Definitely time to be replaced, and this is how you do it. So very simple, just take your old one out, just take your new one and place it in. And I'm going to go ahead, since I have everything fixed up top, we'll go ahead and replace this gasket now. Alright, so our other new gasket here, and as y'all can see, I feel like this may have been replaced before. It's a lot more pliable than the other one was, and it's still very rubbery feel to it. As you can see, there is a little bit difference in the thickness here. This one is, you know, thicker and rounder. This one is flatter, so it has been in here compressed a little bit longer. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and replace this one now. As you can see here, you know, it just goes in like that, and this is your filter down here at the bottom. So we'll replace this new one. Okay, so new gasket in place, sits in there nice, and this is a genuine Honda part. This is your part number right here. So if you can turn it over, you can see what I've done. I went ahead, this was the hole that was messed up, but just to make it kind of look, I don't know, maybe even some, I replaced, this is my new bolt here, I just put a little washer on there, got it tightened down nice and snug. New gasket in here, thread sealant on this oil pressure switch, sending unit. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and reinstall this onto the vehicle. And just remember, all we have now in here, those 3 long 10mm bolts go in here and attach this whole unit to the block. We'll plug everything back up, wipe it down good, make sure we don't have any leaks. Alright, so everything is back attached. So now we'll start it up and check for leaks. Alright, so engine running. No leaks so far. Everything looks good. We'll monitor it. Hopefully nothing changes, and hopefully we have fixed the problem. And I hope this has helped you if you had the same issue I had with your S2000. And I'm KREESE. Thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.